Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tiara Daly, a young adult science fiction and fantasy author, and today I am doing the ho 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 writing tag. The ho 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 writing tag was originally created by Kim Chance and Melissa Hope as a collaboration. It is 10 questions that revolve around things that you find around Christmas and the holidays, and I am super excited to get into answering these questions, so I will get right into it. Number 1, Santa Claus. If you could ask Santa for one thing off your bucket list, what would you ask for and why? I would probably ask for an agent for Christmas. I would like an agent, please. I've tried the self-publishing thing and it's not what I'm looking for my novels, so I really want to be traditionally published. I just got an R&R from an agent, so I just need to put in the work and hopefully things work out and maybe I'll get my wish. Number 2, the ghost of Christmas past. What's one piece of advice you wish your past self knew about writing? Or what advice would you give to fellow aspiring authors? I'll wrap it into one for fellow aspiring authors and for my past self. Do you know how they tell you not to write certain things like waking up, like starting a book waking up, or starting a book with a dream, or looking in the mirror to describe your character? Don't do those things. Like seriously, past self, find another way. Even if you feel stubborn and you really want those things in your book, or you feel like yours are different or they belong somehow, don't do them. Just don't do them. Find another way, guys. Because whenever an agent or anyone in the industry gets to that point in your book, they will look at it and say this person probably is a novice, they're still learning to write, it's not something they're looking for. Those things are in so many books and you don't realize how many like amateur books those things are in until you start critiquing other people's work. Like they don't make it to publishing very often, but if you critique people's work, you're like, wow, this is everywhere. So agents can tell who is ready to be published and who's not, and if they see that, they will, it's like an auto reject half the time. Turtles, sorry. So rework the scenes so that they don't do those things, and yeah. Number 3, elves. Santa has his little helpers. What resource has been the most helpful to you or the most invaluable to your writing process? Probably conferences. I don't think that this is what that question really intended, but conferences always leave me feeling really inspired. When I come away from them, I have tons of new knowledge. I've met all kinds of new friends that are fellow writers, and I've made a lot of acquaintances in the industry, or I've seen acquaintances in the industry that I have met at previous conferences, and it just leaves me feeling like this is a job. I'm good at what I do. I'm inspired about what I'm writing. I think that conferences have really made a big difference in my writing career. Now, I don't think that this is what this question really intended, because elves help Santa every day, like day to day, like they're doing, you know, they're helping him with his work. And I think that conferences isn't a day-to-day helpful aid. And I think that's more of what this question meant, in which case I would say that my answer is probably my fellow author tubers. When it comes to answering questions that I need help with, I will always turn to AuthorTube to see if I can find the answers to what I need. So it's usually my fellow author tubers that I need, that are my elves. So thanks guys for being elves. Number 4, gingerbread cookies. What is your favorite holiday treat? And what is your main characters of your current work in progress? What is their favorite holiday treat as well? My favorite holiday treat is probably like hot chocolate or some kind of hot Christmassy beverage, and Christmas cookies. Some of my characters really like killops, which are kind of a salty chip-like cookie. That I made up, obviously, and I think that there would be holiday treats that utilize that in recipes that I think Gumford would really like. But I don't think he really has a favorite. How's my ball? We're losing it. We'll move it forward. This is my mic. What is that movie in? The Santa Claus? where he had the mic in the thing, but he lost his hat. I think it was a Santa Claus. It's a good movie. Number 5, holiday traditions. What is your favorite family tradition, and which fictional character would you like to share that tradition with? I've always liked driving around and looking at Christmas lights. There's something kind of magical about it. When I was little, there were a couple streets nearby that it was like you had to decorate, you had to go all out. The line just to get around this neighborhood was crazy. I couldn't, now that I'm an adult, I'm like, I can't imagine living there. But I feel like the city paid them to decorate, to create that holiday spirit, and I loved driving around there. It felt magical, like all of the lights, and I loved that. My favorite fictional character I would love to experience that with is probably Arthur Weasley. I think I would enjoy doing anything Muggle related with Arthur Weasley because he gets so excited about everything Muggle, like rubber ducks. There's just like this childlike wonder about him, and I think he would love looking at the lights like that. Number 6, Star of Bethlehem. What started your journey to write your first book? And has your journey turned out like you imagined? And where would you like your journey to go in the future? So for the first manuscript I wrote, now this isn't what sparked the idea or what made me want to write, because those are two different answers. This is what actually sparked my writing journey. And I think it was actually a mass 500-person layoff from the company I was working for at the time. I was suddenly without a job and I was looking for work, and I wrote on my off hours, and because I suddenly had a lot more time, I was writing a lot more, and a year later I had a first draft. So as far as that first manuscript goes, no, the journey did not turn out the way I expected. I thought that I was going to write a book and get an agent and get published, and that's how it works. But it's a lot more time and a lot of hard work, and it's more of both of those things than I expected it to be at the time. Once a few years in, after going to conferences, doing boot camps and everything, I learned just how long of a journey I might be in for. Number 7, The Night Before Christmas. What's your favorite book to read during the holidays? So I don't have a favorite holiday book. I realized back in October how cool it was to read a book that has the same kind of feelings that are going on that month. Like I read a scary book back in October, and I never realized how cool that was. So I don't have a favorite holiday book, but I think it would be really cool to read something holiday-ish during the season. That's not what I'm doing this year. Usually I just read whatever, and I'm halfway through 2 other books that I'm going to continue reading. So I don't have a favorite book, but I do have favorite stories that I look for during the holidays. I tend to gravitate towards origin stories like Rudolph or how Santa Claus came to be, or I will look for the kids discovering magic stories. So like Harry Potter, no, just kidding. But also, yeah, Harry Potter has some good like Christmas feelings to it. But like any kids who are seeing Santa's workshop for the first time, there's something about origin stories and kids discovering magic that create that spark of imagination and inspiration that I tend to look for in stories. Number 8, Christmas parties. What is your best advice for juggling writing with the busy holiday season? Oof. Ask me when I figured it out. My best advice would be to try to give it priority. Make it the first thing you do that day, or after you work or whatever you do, and you have that chunk of time where you're getting things done, make it the first thing you do then. If you have a long list of things to do and you're gonna save that till the end, you're gonna be way too tired and you're gonna cut it and it's not gonna get done. If you can't make it the first thing you do, like maybe you have to run errands at a certain time or whatever, if you try to write 5 days of the week, only write 4 days and make sure that one day that you choose not to write is the day that you get as much shit done as possible. Number 9, Polar Express. What rituals do you use to transport yourself into the world of your book or the mindset of your characters? So when it comes to starting the writing process, I always dim the lights so that all of the focus, kind of the world closes around me and all my focus is on my desk and my writing. I will have a hot beverage, whether it's tea or coffee, depending on the time of day, and I will light a candle. Usually I like to write with scents of lemon and lilac because it wakes me up and it sparks imagination best for me. But that is getting into the writing, not the world. So as far as getting into the world or mindset of my characters, I will either read favorite scenes that I've written in that character's point of view, or I will read their character description. I don't have like a full character Bible, I just have a couple paragraphs for each character to kind of remember who they are and what they're doing, what they want, what they're afraid of. You know, I have all of those things listed. So just as a reminder of who that is, if it has been a while since I've written, like maybe I just took a break, I actually like to go through and read all of my notes and ideas I have for the future books in the Hopeful series, just to get re-inspired for the work and the writing and the story. Number 10, sugar and spice and everything nice. In the spirit of spreading kindness and cheer, give a shout out to someone who has been instrumental in your writing process or someone who has helped you along the way. I feel like because we've moved a lot, there's never been one person who has been there through the entire journey, outside of my husband, who I thanked in my last video, and I will thank again because he is literally the reason I am where I am today, I'm sure. I don't think I could have done a lot of this without him. But like, we moved to Los Angeles for a stint, and we moved in next to a literal rock star and his totally rock star romance writing wife, who helped me and answered all of the questions that I needed answered at that time, which was actually the time when I finished the first draft of my very first manuscript, and I was just getting into finding an agent and figuring out publishing in general. So she helped me a lot with that. But then we only lived there for 6 months, and then we moved to Louisiana, and I found an author who was inspired by me starting up a journey and wanted to take me under her wing as my mentor, and she was awesome, and she answered a bunch of my questions. But then we moved again, and like, I don't know, even in this age where there's email present, we just never stayed in contact. So everywhere I've gone, I've had professional writers or friends who have read my writing and looked at everything and answered questions, and just I've gotten advice from throughout the years. And it's been different everywhere we've lived. So if you were one of those people that I have asked for advice, thank you, because every time you've answered a question or read my work and given me some kind of advice, it's helped. It's gotten me a little step further. So thank you to all of those people who have been there on this crazy long journey, but like have been there for a very small portion of it. So thank you guys. Okay guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for checking out my holiday special and my ho 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 writing tag and listening to me answer all of these writing questions. I will see you guys next time. Bye. Ho ho ho. Ho 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 ho. Ho ho ho. I have had so many takes so far with me just going ho ho. I feel insane.